Conservative figures like Laura Loomer and Owen Schroyer are speaking out after losing their verification badges and monetization features on X. This firestorm erupted after they criticized immigration policies and Musk's support for H-1B visas. The debate took center stage as Loomer called out the appointment of Sriram Krishnan, a tech executive and H-1B visa recipient, as an AI advisor in Trump's incoming administration. Musk didn't deny involvement, but issued a cryptic explanation suggesting algorithmic enforcement may be to blame. He stated, "If far more credible, verified subscriber accounts mute or block your account compared to those who like your posts, your reach will decline significantly." The controversy began when Loomer fiercely criticized Krishnan and H-1B visas, claiming the visa program undermines American workers. Shortly after, her account was suspended for 12 hours, her blue checkmark disappeared, and her subscriptions were shut down. Loomer didn't hold back, calling it retaliation for supporting original Trump immigration policies. Other prominent conservatives, including Gavin Wax and Ryan Fournier, also lost their verification, fueling accusations of targeted censorship. Critics argue Musk's vague statements don't explain why the actions coincided with their vocal opposition to H-1B visas. As of now, X has not issued an official response as to why he demonetized accounts like Cassandra McDonald, and leaving many to wonder, is this a case of algorithmic fallout or intentional silencing? Now get ready to hear the first part of a wild 3-hour X space that took place on December 26th. It's packed with drama, featuring the major players involved and what I believe might be an advanced AI conversational bot called Adrian, designed to sound eerily like Elon Musk. That type of bot would be no different than one I used to make this introduction, but obviously far more developed. That's just my opinion. You be the judge.
All right, let's try this again.
Maybe this will work.
Yeah, this is actually crazy.
Yeah, it's insane.
I've never seen this happen. Even when space have crashed, I've seen them queue up with no problems, like 5 or so minutes later with no issue or whatever. So,
Yeah,
if we crash, then we know something's up.
right. Yeah.
So hopefully we can bring everybody back up here. And if you guys
Yeah,
are,
Cassandra, I want Cassandra up here for
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Um,
she's up here.
eh, I mean, it's just insane. And none of the reasons they're giving, things to know is that Loomer got a lot of engagement today talking about what she's talking about. It's not a popular issue. Doesn't make sense for her to go up against the old guard. Same, it didn't make sense for Gavin Wax and some of these other influencers to stand up against it. In terms of the HB1 visa thing, they were getting good engagement on it. Elon replying, and then this happens. Loomer lost her badge an hour ago, I think, and then Conservative was debadged 30 minutes later. So if you say that it came from the org in any way, and it had to have, because at least in their explanation, because all of our affiliates lost their verification, well, then why did Loomer lose her check 30 minutes before us? Not to mention, there's been no violation of terms of service anywhere we can find, and it's probably some kind of rogue employee. If Adrian Dittman, who's got to be Elon Musk, is on here telling us what the case is and how it cannot be anything other than just a fluke, to me that symbolizes that maybe Elon wasn't behind it directly, and maybe it was some rogue employee. But what we do know is this isn't just a coincidence. Loomer lost her badge 30 minutes later. We did. Billing doesn't even hit until the first. So everybody's saying, Did you pay your bill? Did you pay your bill?" It doesn't hit until the first, so that wouldn't even be a talking point. Um, but yeah, it's just bizarre. I mean, I don't know what else there is to talk about. And once again, this is not a matter of terms of service. This is a matter of somebody somewhere very high up in X, and it's a part of a bigger thing. Doesn't like what we're saying, and that's why this has happened. At least in my opinion. Now you can say that that's speculation and conjecture all you want, but that does seem to be the public optics of this.
And here's the thing too. You know how I could tell you for a fact with Loomer is different. It's very targeted towards Loomer. because I have a sub still. I believe Raw has their subs too. Loomer is the only one who've lost any subscribers or anything like that on X. I have not. So that message that she got about how a subs are disabled or whatever, that's specific to her account, not
Right.
to mine. And I don't think Raw alerts either. So that makes me indicate or makes me feel like this is not just like, oh, whoopsie daisy. Someone put that label on her account and had her subscribers disappear just like that.
Yeah, and I mean, look, there's like all these bullshit Twitter organizations that like are nonsense. Like there's some for like crypto coins and all this other stuff, and like we have one, and it's dedicated towards exactly what the bio is, which is reject modernity, embrace traditionalism. Fight back against this idea that we do need to replace the American stock with foreigners. We want to embrace Christianity and stuff like that, and then just somehow we get shut down. When there's all these other organizations who are like posting nothing but shit and it looks like spam and it looks like total fraud accounts, but they're left up and we're shut down. And to Adrian's point that he made earlier, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense that it somehow came from the organization, but Loomer was shut down first. Doesn't make any sense. Loomer, this is her bread and butter. She makes a lot of money from this app. And from her audience in general, they subscribe to her page and they go to her Rumble and they are able to support her there. And now she's just lost a large stream of income because of this. So this is just political targeting at its finest. And this guy's in the room with Trump. And these types are in the room with Trump. These Silicon Valley elitists, they're soulless demoniacs. And I don't want to get into hyperbole and I don't want to sound dramatic and whatnot, but this is a perfect time to talk about the fact that these guys literally want to replace you. They want to replace you. They're not apologetic about it whatsoever. They want to replace you. If they don't care about America, they look at it like a fucking sports team. They said that much today. You know, that voice, it got a face to it today. Elon. And we spoke out against that, and this is what's happening. So it's just discouraging.
Is it possible we can bring Adrian and Jack
Yeah,
up?
I'm trying. I'm
There's
trying. Well,
there's also a couple
Adrian's not
celebrities in
requested
here as
yet.
well.
He's not requested yet, so I'm trying to invite. I don't even see him in the listener list right now. No, I see him. I'll invite him to speak right now. If he wants to tune in, he or join, he can. I invited him. And I don't think Jack West, but I'll invite him as well if he wants to hop up here and talk or chime in as well. But yeah, this is a bigger problem. I mean, with X and the tech bro space, we've had battles about immigration for the past for years on end, and now it's coming to fruition at a very late time to before the administration kind of gets their gear in order or whatever and gets people in office or whatnot. But this whole banning thing just coincidentally 30 minutes or an hour or so after. And you're correct, the billing does not apply or is not renew now. It's the 27th. It doesn't happen for a couple of days or so. It's my
Right.
understanding as well. So
Right.
I don't think there's any sort of issue with payment or whatever. And I saw Elon Musk, like making posts recently. I've not seen him make one post about the organization and how a bunch of check marks on the right wing, people who have lots of influence, people who are, not just right wing people, people like Raw Alerts does news and coverage and all of that. They lost their check marks. People who are make memes, right wing stuff, they lost their accounts. And I've not heard a single word from Musk about this at all.
Well, we've cheered Elon on in the times where he's, done certain things good, brought certain people back and done good things on policy and whatnot. But at the end of the day, I from the beginning have thought Trojan horse, Trojan horse. You bring in these guys like David Sachs. You've got Palantir sponsoring the military football game they had. It's like this stuff is just so dystopian, and we operate on a timeline where one specific race of people gets blown to bits every single day. You have people who try to defend that race heavily in some cases, and they get people shown up to their house and trying to kill them, and nobody does anything to protect them. And so to me, it's just mind-boggling. It's spiritually irking. Uh, you have a lot of us and everybody who just lost their badge today for the most part are firm believers in the fact that Christianity ought to be the face of this country. and that more than any time, than now, we have to make Christ the forefront. And for that, we're going to face persecution and all these other things. And that's why we're seeing this battle of evil happening every single day. It's just, it's nuts. We've been noticing certain things for a long time, and then this kind of culminates. So bizarre, bizarre. But if you can get Cassandra up here, I'd love to hear what
Yeah,
she's
she's
got to
up here.
say.
Yes, so yeah, Cassandra, chime in here. What are your thoughts on the entire thing that's going on with X and censorship and being, I guess, remove it of a check mark? What are your thoughts?
I think it's a little bit insane. I haven't lost my subscribers or anything like Loomer did, but I'm wondering if that's because I also pay for the X premium or whatever on my own. So it's also kind of weird that I lost my check when I pay for it myself on top of conservative org paying for the gold check or the brand badge. So I don't know. I think it's definitely not a coincidence. I think it's just a matter of if Elon did it to be petty or if a rogue employee did it to be petty, personally.
To be
Right.
honest with you, now that I'm actually looking back at like what you guys just said in terms of like the other people still having their subscribers, this goes back to a certain part of the TOS where if like, for example, X amount of reports came in, a mid-level person who could be, let's say, in Europe, ended up getting the ticket, right? If he sees whatever the violation may have been and then executed on Loomer, that affects the org no matter what. It just does. So the reason why you guys probably lost it is because somebody targeted Loomer, and Adrian might be right on that. It could be a rogue employee, or it could have been somebody thinking they're just doing their job. So like, there's certain pieces that you have to factor into that.
Even if it was that, though, even if it was that, there's no justification whatsoever. There's no justification for every ramification that followed in terms of economic loss and,
Oh,
the pure
absolutely not.
spectacle that this has created. And I'll say this, Laura, as far as I can see, didn't violate any terms of service. And let's say hypothetically she did. I'm sure it would be some kind of joke or jab she made at some racial minority. Uh, but it's like, is that what I mean? I don't think
I
that's
mean,
what it was.
you
But
have to
even if it was,
remember
is that really?
you have to remember one piece that people used to do on Twitter like forever ago, right? Like Twitter, like I guess point 0.5, not even Twitter 1.0. People would used to go back like 15 years on your Twitter and then report like one tweet several thousand times. And it would kind of cause the same scenario if, let's say, you know she got suspended at one point and then they went back and found a tweet and then reported something there. Like there's a lot of factors you have to take into this. There's not It's not
Yeah,
just
I know,
it's
but
not
I
just
don't
like,
buy that. I don't buy any of
that's the
that. I
thing.
don't buy
That's the
that.
thing. But like that's
This
the
isn't a coincidental thing that somebody just got. They just went back and found a tweet, and it just so happened to violate the terms of service in this specific way, and they got us, and they nuked us, and they got rid of all of our badges all in the same time, and then our spaces crashed 50 times. That doesn't just happen, and it doesn't just happen when you're saying the things we're saying that not a lot of other folks, with certain followings in the MAGA realm are saying. So you got some people who are just total supplicants who are not saying anything about what's going on. And then you've got us, which is the minority faction, I'd argue, and we're saying stuff, and then our whole account gets shut down. It's very odd timing. And if I were you, to be an advocate of free speech and whatnot, I would not even give a leg for these guys to prop themselves up on, because it's been nothing but continued assault against anybody who's within our circle of politics. People, whether they're on the outskirts or not. You had somebody just a couple weeks ago literally almost get murdered in their own home. And these threats were being continuously purveyed on this very app, and nothing was done about it. And nothing doesn't seem to be done about it today. So I'm just not buying, and I'm not giving any sympathy whatsoever. I'm not giving them any room to defend themselves. There's no justification for it. They've just cost a lot of people a lot of
No,
money.
I to be honest with you, I completely agree with you. And if I showed, shared my horror stories, you know, I'm sure you would completely understand. You know what I mean? I don't think that it was meant to be intentional. but it is intentional. I do see what you're saying. I completely agree with you, and it did cost people money, like, bottom line. And I always tell everybody, you can play with, people's emotions, whatever, but when you start playing with people's money, like, you're fucking up. Like, people are gonna really feel some type of way about that. So
Right.
yeah, I get it, and I do think that it will be resolved in shorter amount of time than it usually does, because of the obviously, the movement behind what you guys are saying. People are definitely reaching out to people, but I would say don't strictly attack Elon for it. Like you said, it could be one rogue employee that did it, and now they're trying to find a way to reverse it all without, causing you guys headaches, right? Because don't forget that payment portal for X is through Stripe. Maybe a manager has to reach out to Stripe. Hey, can you reverse all of these X amount of payments to go back? Like, we'll pay for all the subscribers to go back. Now they have to do all of that manually. That type of stuff does take time, like, especially with the amount of affiliates, the followers you guys have, all the badges going back. Like, there's a process to it. There's a method to the madness, especially when it comes down to tickets. Like, it just has to be tracked. Everything has to
For a
be
guy that's launching rockets into space, I just don't know how this cuts it. I don't know how these kind of mistakes fly.
I mean, you have to remember, don't forget, like, sometimes you send in a ticket or you send in a response, bro. I have a case that's been waiting for 14 days. I still haven't got a response yet. Like, like I said, don't let me tell you the horror stories you know, of my experience with people. I just don't announce it. I don't say anything about it, because it's like, I'll blow up. I'll crash out. Like, I'll be honest, I'll just crash out, because I don't understand it, because I worked in IT. I know how to reply to tickets. It needs to be within 30 minutes or less. That's just what it is. But the fact that you guys have reached out and nobody said anything, and I'm sure you haven't got a refund or anything for gold, um, that leads me to believe that, they're probably trying to work on it, bro. Like,
Yeah,
honestly.
some of our folks are saying they still got their subscribers. I know Loomer says she doesn't.
Which leads me to believe that it was straight targeted at her, which caused the TOS, which in result made you lose your gold, which caused everybody to lose their check marks. Like Cassandra said, she still has her subscribers because she still pays for premium, which is valid. That shows that if Loomer is the only one that doesn't have her subscribers, it was targeted by TOS directly at her. And based on the association with your org, you lost it too. That's it. It
Yeah,
is. It is in the print.
I know, but
It is.
I don't. I just don't buy any of that. Okay,
I understand.
it doesn't. That doesn't happen today of all days, where Elon directly interacts with her account in opposition to what she's espousing. It doesn't just happen that way. And look, this isn't a direct attack on Elon necessarily. I mean, I do believe that there are certain forces at play in all this that are not good forces, but maybe it was a rogue employee, and if it was, we just want this situation to be resolved. We want every loss that our people took, because every second that goes by, some of these people have really big accounts. They're not making money on monetizing, as far as I know. And so we just want this situation to be fixed, and we want people to be able to advocate for Christendom and for the Americans to not be replaced by foreigners without having to worry about political retribution from tech oligarchs, that have billions of dollars. I mean, in the simplest form.
Oh no, I
That's the
completely agree
But
with you.
what are you talking about? Like, what specifically are you talking about? You have no proof for any of what you're saying.
Once again, this is not a pointed thing to say towards Elon. This is to say it's very coincidental. Everything that's happening simultaneously, not just this our account being shut down and all the affiliates losing their badge, but
I also think it's extremely coincidental that even though your space supposedly crashed a bunch of times in a row, this has been like the longest you've been on a space. It all operates off the same protocol, so if something was wrong with you or your device or anything in general, you'd be kicked off the space pretty much at the same level of frequency that you were out of your own space when you were hosting it, because there's no
I don't know
difference.
what to tell you. I screenshotted the
I don't know what to tell you either. I think that's also a pretty interesting
I
coincidence.
screenshotted the screen when it kicked us out. It was a white faded screen.
Okay, post a screenshot. Post a
Absolutely.
screenshot. I want to see what it is.
So wait,
Maybe it just like went black or something. I don't know.
Hold
It
on.
can happen. You know, like maybe you clicked on a space that was previously recorded. Could also be. You know, that's one of the other
it
ways that
wasn't. I
spaces
didn't do
tend to
that.
end themselves. Actually, so.
So wait. So
By the way, just for everybody to understand, I'm not Elon or anything. I'm just here, kind of as a commentator, really, in a commentator type of capacity.
right.
That's what I'm doing
But
here.
Adrian, so just a question.
I'm just being annoying.
Just
Professionally annoying. I'm a professional chain yanker.
Okay, just a question for you, Adrian. So, of all of us, Loomer had a notification about subscribers being removed. I don't have that notification. No other creator in the organization had that notification happen. So, why do you think that her subscribers were miraculously just turned off? You know,
Because they didn't pay for the subscription. So you cannot have any subscriptions. I think you can actually have subscriptions enabled. Not entirely sure on this, but normally a lot of the monetization features are not available to you if you're unverified. So that would happen if you were to say be, you know, if you were to be okay. So if you at some point had a just subscription to premium active, and then what happened was you just cancel it because you now have the organization badge, and the organization badge actually gives you free premium plus. Then if somebody were to rock the organization badge, you'd actually sit there without any subscription whatsoever, and mostly anything I think that has anything to do with verified would be canceled on the spot because you just don't have it anymore.
I pay
Right?
for
So
my
if they
own.
stopped paying for it, they stopped paying.
I pay for my own, and I lost my blue check too.
yeah,
And I was verified through conservative, but I also pay for my own still,
Yep.
and it's gone.
yeah. I have mine. I have mine for
That's
the entire
odd.
like year going into I believe what was it, like March or April or no, June or something of next year, the whole year. So I lost mine as well. And the thing about this too, Bloomberg said that she also paid for hers and she lost subscribers, specifically that feature that I have not
Bro,
lost. So
what the
I have
fuck
not
is
lost
this?
subscribers. I have my my subscribers or so. I'm sure that Rawlers, he said he has his still. Cassandra probably has hers. I'm guaranteeing all of us have subscribers except for Loomer. So why was hers just turned off, but not all of ours?
Mute conservative.
Damn, somebody has a
What
lot
do
of
your
feedback
emails
right
from
there.
X say?
Like that.
I've had no emails from X. But hold on,
That's a
I
good
want to hear
question.
Adrian's response to that question, though. I want to hear Adrian's response to my point.
What point? You made a lot of points, man.
Yeah,
It's getting
your point's
confusing.
this. We all, except for Laura Loomer, right? Myself, Cassandra, Rawlerts, we have subscribers still. Loomer does not have her subscribers. She pays for X. She still pays for it. I paid for X. I lost my check mark. I have mine for an entire year. So why is Laura Loomer not having subscribers on her account, and why did we all lose our check marks despite us paying for our check marks still?
I have no idea. That doesn't make any sense
To me,
whatsoever.
you're
Maybe it was like some
offering
sort
these
of bug of some
bleak
kind.
you're
I'm not
offering
sure.
these bleak explanations when we ask you the questions and point them
I'm not
towards you.
offering any
But
explanations
okay, then why
whatsoever.
do
I'm
you come
basically
in with
interrogating
pure
you.
opposition then? It seems like you come in and you're just
Because it's a very strange thing. And I mean,
wrong.
look, you do have a strange history as well of like manufacturing certain stuff. So I'm being naturally
Okay,
critical here.
so now
That's
what
a
do you
normal thing.
consider manufacturing? What do you think we've manufactured?
I'm not saying that you've manufactured anything. I'm just saying that you've had a history of supporting people who manufacture
Okay,
things.
so you did say
You know,
that,
stuff
but
that has actually
you
caused a
did
lot of
say that.
damage at scale.
You did say
So
that, but
wait, what did I say
regardless, you've
specifically?
come into this whole thing very pointed, saying that everything we've got's wrong, but you don't offer any reality. So what is it?
No, I did not say that everything you've got is wrong. That is not what I've said. When did I say this?
You've said that you've gawked at every single explanation that we've tried to hypothesize for being the cause of this whole situation.
I was asking you what exactly was going on, but I didn't say that you were like. I was just asking you what was happening.
So as someone who's well, you know, you've got a long history being on X, and you know a lot about the terms of service. So what do you have any idea of what it could be?
No, actually, I don't. Normally, if something like this has happened, you may have some post in your history, or you have made a reply of some sort. I'm not sure, but there must have been some sort of violation, or it's a glitch, because that can happen as well. Or maybe one of you has caused a bit of a problem, and then there was a response there, and that then caused some sort of a glitch, perhaps, because that has happened in the past. Glitches do happen. Not exactly what it is. I don't work there. I don't know. I'm just trying to like understand what the whole drama is all about. I don't think somebody's like explicitly coming after you and trying to shut you down, because if they would, you wouldn't be here talking about it.
Well, but here's
Just to
okay.
put it
I
out
think
there,
it
like,
shows
clearly.
the teeth of the
Well,
people
okay.
who have
So,
the
but I think the
control.
point's been made though.
No, like simply, if they wanted to like take you down in its entirety, they would have done it.
Okay.
There was an organization account that was like creating a shit ton of problems back in the day. I still remember there was like one in particular where they were. It was a crypto related. I don't know what it was. I kind of remember it still. But what was happening is they had an org that basically kept posting stuff with wallet drainers on it or something like that. And so basically everyone in the org itself with the affiliate badge was actually participating in this. And so what they then did was the org account got rugged and everybody else associated with it also got suspended.
Wow. Well, even more reason to be
Right. This is the
angry.
thing that I observed all the time. I actually was a very crazy thing because I saw that that was happening back in the day, and they were legitimately causing massive amounts of fucking harm, financial harm to a lot of people, innocent people. And so basically, you know, that account got suspended, a bunch of other people got suspended as well. So like I said, if you did something which would warrant a response where you'd be shut down, and if you were like true in what you're saying about people coming after you, they would have come after you to the effect that you wouldn't be able to talk about it.
Okay.
And even if you were able to be talking about it, it wouldn't be as impactful as it is
The
as you
point that
think
you
it is
made
now.
about X coming after somebody, I can tell you for a fact that with Loomer, she had a unique notification that I didn't have, that Cassandra didn't have, Isabella didn't have, Jack didn't have, 9M didn't have, Rawlers didn't have. It is exclusive to her. She lost subscriber access. That was not for all of us. So that.
Well, I'm not sure what she did. Maybe she did something and caused. I don't fucking know.
But
Yeah, but I okay, but
I don't know. Maybe you should talk
what
to her.
you're
Actually,
missing
here's
here.
the thing: as the one individual who this has affected to this most serious degree, where is she?
She's very disturbed by it naturally, as anyone would be when their financial, powerhouse takes such a major hit.
Adrian,
I've communicated with her.
It's too disturbed to come onto a place and speak like they usually did whenever they were disturbed, to the point where they even involve themselves in certain types of protests physically.
To be honest with you, Adrian, I
invited her. So
I did
if
invite
she
her.
wants help here, she can.
I
But
did invite
you go ahead. Sorry. Continue. Whoever's speaking.
I did invite her, Adrian. I invited pretty much everybody that was under conservative, but some of them I haven't really responded or talked. I think Cassandra's probably the only one in conservative and Treat Trumpster that have like really said anything in here so far. Like I said, it kind of does fit the narrative that you're saying. If they really wanted to get rid of you, they just would get rid of you. So I understand that one
disagree.
completely. That is true, but it kind of fits my narrative where if Laura did do something that, like you said, was malicious or anything, that does fit into the organization terms of service are different from the actual Twitter TOS, right? Like you're held to a higher degree per se. And if she did do something wrong, like I said, it will rug the org. Like that's part. It literally says that if any of your affiliates do anything malicious, the organization will be it will be taken. It's
Okay, but I think until we see any proof of this malicious thing that we're conjuring up from the depths of our mind to give sort of a crutch to these people who have just done what they've done, I think we ought to see proof, and I think we ought to operate in the mind space of innocent until proven guilty. And I haven't seen a thing, and I think it's oddly suspicious that the day that she sticks up for white people.
Actually, out of everybody
Okay.
here in this conversation, the most, I think, down to earth in terms of like the facts was Jordan here, and is the only person who actually said something of substance.
Wait. Hold
Great.
on. Wait.
I'm not against any of you, by the way.
Seems like it.
I'm not against any of you at all. But I just kind of feel like that's exactly what's happening
Adrian,
here.
my dialogue with you is pretty straightforward. I've raised two main points. One being that there's a problem with Loomer specifically with subscribers. Second point is that we all pay for check marks, and we still got hit with a checkmark loss and lack of premium features. I understand it'll work for X. I understand that you're not Elon Musk or whatnot. I don't expect you to have every single answer about the algorithm or whatever. But you came here because I know you know a lot about X and all of that, and I asked a question. You didn't know the answer. I understand that. It's a very complicated algorithm, and X is not your wheelhouse. You don't work there or whatever. So I get that, but I don't think it was disrespectful or whatever. We have a pretty basic conversation back and forth about this. So what? I understand the point you made about adding the value. The only value we have is that there are problems with X, and they're not resolved right now.
I think it's maybe just a problem with Loomer doing certain stuff, because based on what Jordan has been saying here, I think that's exactly how it would pan out to be.
Okay, Laura
That
Loomer's
specific
in the
individual
chat.
might have
She's
done
requesting.
something.
So let's add her.
Yay.
All right.
Laura, go ahead and defend yourself.
It's just outrageous. I don't understand how we can call this a free speech platform and then, oh, wow, you're going to come out and criticize Elon Musk and raise legitimate concerns, and then he's going to retaliate and reply to Mario Nafal and say, oh, yeah, play stupid games and win stupid prizes. So apparently, if you want to question Elon Musk or you want to get accountability in the age of, big tech leftists changing their mind all of a sudden and waking up one day after President Trump almost took a bullet to his head, deciding that they want to be MAGA after voting for Democrats their entire lives. Well, you're going to lose your subscriptions, and you're also going to lose your premium access. I can't even purchase premium anymore. They're always talking about how you should buy premium. Well, I purchased premium, and now I can't even buy premium
So
anymore.
basically, so your issue is more so with the dude than the actual product itself. That's what I'm getting here. Because if you're saying that you do not, in fact, have free speech, then why are you able to speak?
Why am I being limited to a character?
How does that work?
Why am I being limited? Why am I being limited? I wanted a premium account. I'm
I don't know what
entitled.
you did. Only you know what you did.
What did I do? I criticized Elon Musk.
I don't know. I don't know what you did. You're like basically turning everything upside down and causing massive amounts of chaos. That's what I can see that you're doing. And it's not that you're like criticizing a particular individual
How
as
am
to
I
what their
creating
decision or belief
chaos by
system is.
pointing out
But like,
the
goddamn.
fact that President Trump campaigned on eliminating H-1B visas and decreasing the amount of H-1B visas? None of the tech bros are going to know this because, like I said, they just decided after watching all of their rhetoric that they've been spewing for 8 years against Donald Trump for the last 8 years, almost get him shot in the head by an assassin. They're like, oh shit, maybe we should actually
How
do a
are the
180.
tech bros
Because
involved in a
because
person's
because
insanity?
for the last 8
What?
years, all of these guys who constantly tell us that they're the best and brightest, yeah, you're so best and bright, but you weren't best and bright enough to know that Donald Trump wasn't the problem these last 8 years. Their rhetoric against President Trump
What?
has led to this mass psychosis that is basically,
Whose rhetoric specifically? Give me an
well,
example.
look at Mark Zuckerberg, for example. He's one of the tech bros. Look at Mark Zuckerberg and the way that he classified President Trump as an insurrectionist,
How did he classify Donald Trump? Give me like
Okay,
word for word exactly
so
what he said
on
about him.
January 8th, 2021, 2 days after the protests at the Capitol, all of the big tech executives, including Jack Dorsey and Mark Zuckerberg, all conspired and said that they were going to deplatform President Trump. He was debanked. He was demonized. They said he was a threat to democracy. The transition of power hadn't even taken place. And then all of a sudden, we saw the deplatforming of Parler in one of the most egregious acts of big tech censorship ever. And then Donald Trump was deplatformed while he was still a sitting United States president. And for years,
And what does this have to do with X?
well, because
And today's
there
version
hasn't been
of it?
any
So
accountability.
simple-minded not to see the relation.
There hasn't been any accountability whatsoever for any of these people. Elon Musk purchased X, and then he thinks, oh, okay, well, just because I purchased X, even though technically speaking, when you purchase a company, you assume all of the litigation that came along with that company. There's no accountability for any of the people who tried suing Jack Dorsey and getting accountability. People like myself, for example, when we wanted to hold them accountable for all, they want to say, oh, wow, it's a massive revelation, everything that came out in the Twitter files. People like me.
You're saying a whole bunch of stuff, but nothing is really
What
adding
are
up
you
to
talking
anything. You're
about?
like trying to figure out some way
What
to
are you
pin
talking
down
about? I'm giving you
someone who
examples
had nothing to do with this.
because
Yes, you're giving me examples of stuff that has happened in the past. And these tech bros have nothing to do with what the system looks like today. You know this, right? Specifically,
they
someone
do
like
have
Jack
everything
Dorsey
to do with
and
what it
someone
looks
like,
like today because they had the power and they had the free will to
yeah.
speak out about this years ago, but they only decided to speak out about it right
So-
as President Trump almost got assassinated. And I
If
want to
this
know,
guy's not Elon Musk, at the end of the day, he's just a guy with a funny accent. He's got nothing to offer other than to say everything that we're
well,
sitting here saying could be the case is not the case, but then he doesn't know what the case is.
look, at the end of
And I just want to point out too that
the
Elon Musk
day,
has not retweeted or replied since Adrian joined this. Like literally.
Sorry, back. I had
at the end
a
of the
little bit of a
day,
connection.
at the end
Wait,
of
what
the
happened?
day, I'm a Trump supporter and I'm looking out for President Trump. I don't think that it's unrealistic.
You're looking out by causing a massive amount of chaos and accusing people of deplatforming all this kind of nonsense, which is not really happening
It
for
is.
him. Under Jack Dorsey, this has nothing to do This has nothing to do with the current state of X.
Okay, so
This has
wait,
nothing to
wait,
do with
okay.
that.
It
How does this
actually
have
Wait,
anything to do with that?
does.
You're going to say, okay, there was like some sort of rhetoric set by some
actually
people. People, by the way, who are not in charge of these systems anymore that you are part of right now. You're on this platform, by the way. If these people were in
Hey,
charge back,
So
if
and
these people
I'm
who were in
on
charge
this
okay,
back then were in charge
platform.
of the system
the
I'm
today,
on this.
you'd actually be suspended, but you're not.
wait. So the points that Loomer is making aren't just about X, it transcends X in this issue, but about the broader, tech bro space. And the problem is that you mentioned something about users not being able to be platformed or whatever.
The tech bro space. So you define very certain massive individuals as part of the tech bro space, quote unquote. Who's part of that tech bro space for you?
Literally, Y Combinator, Silicon Valley startup, Silicon Valley in general. The whole point I'm making to you, which is separate from this.
Y Combinator shut down
I'm
Trump?
not. No, I
What?
didn't make that. That's not.
Is that
That's
what
not
you're
again me.
insinuating?
You're misinterpreting. My point, if I could finish, is that the tech.
Okay, but you
You're not letting me
stated
finish
that
though.
the tech bro space was
I didn't say those
responsible with the
words. I didn't.
deplatforming of
I
Elon,
didn't.
blah blah
I
blah,
didn't say
whatever
those
else. So you,
words. You're
by that
putting words in my
extent,
mouth. You're putting words in my mouth. I didn't say those words.
no, I'm
Yes,
not.
you
I'm
literally
making
are.
connections based on the
My
words that you've
point.
said. No, I'm not.
Okay, you keep interrupting me. If I want to talk, I can. The point I'm trying to get to you, broader speaking, about the tech space, there have been issues with big tech when it comes to censorship and social media and all of that. Just right now, by the way, Barry Stanton, an account on X, is banned. Nick Fuentes can't get a check mark. There are issues of deplatforming that happen all
Yeah,
the time
the
on this
Barry
current
Stanton
platform.
being banned was a
What's
justifiable thing. That was a
what's US
That's
justifiable
not.
break?
thing. If somebody like keeps posting absolute fucking
Oh
dog
yeah,
shit,
that's
What's
justifiable.
US
really
When do you
break?
get
just
to
racist
dictate
stuff
So
what
what
without
is
dog
any
Yeah,
shit
reason
what
is?
is
whatsoever is
what's
kind of
what
US
is
stupid. That
break?
deserves to get
used for
suspended, in my
my
opinion. But that's just
When
my
do you
opinion.
get to dictate what dog shit is?
Wait, hold on. Sorry, that was someone else.
I don't get to dictate
Adrian.
anyone's
You just
anything.
did.
These are just
Adrian,
policies of a
what
platform
specific
that you're
Adrian,
using or
Adrian,
misusing,
what
actually.
TOS do you specifically break? Can you give me one? Like what specific things do you break?
Something along the lines of racism, and I mean, you can
No.
classify
I
that as
want specific
any
thing.
one of those
Specific
major
thing.
things. I don't know what specifically they classified it as because you'd have to be behind the system,
You're
and I'm not.
passionately running damage control for an entity in which you have no stock
I'm
in.
not doing
It
any
seems
damage
like
Wait.
it.
control
I
whatsoever.
have a better question actually. What? Wait.
What?
So Adrian, why did
No, I'm just arguing for the sake of arguing because it's funny.
Adrian.
Uh-huh.
Adrian,
That's all I'm doing here.
why did
Don't mischaracterize that
Adrian,
at all.
question.
I'm not running
Adrian,
damage control for anyone.
why can't we be
Hold on.
grateful to Elon Musk for purchasing X and then also just have a legitimate conversation about how, we want some empathy from these tech bros who are now just walking into Mar-a-Lago after 8 years of debasing Trump and the MAGA base.
So basically, you guys are
No.
jealous about a bunch
We're
of
not
You
people
don't know
jealous.
getting
binary.
We're not
involved
You
jealous.
can't
because
think
they
past
saw that
We're
shit's
binary.
not
getting real.
jealous. We're not
No,
jealous. We just
Adrian.
want
Adrian,
No,
their
answer
we're
the
mad
question
that
though.
they're
Yeah, then
trying
why
to
are you
derail
focusing on
action.
the quote-unquote
I'm
tech
All right,
bro
sorry.
let's
stuff?
not talk all at once, but
Yeah,
let me
I
say,
agree.
hang on, Chief. Let me
Type of,
say, let
okay.
me say this. Uh, I think it's very telling, and I'm going to say it multiple times. Everybody's been on here. I don't care. More people have joined. It's very telling that at the very time that Laura Loomer sticks up for one of the most unpopular stances known to man, which is sticking up for the white Christian populace of this country, she gets deplatformed, and the entity she's associated with gets deplatformed too. Now, you got this guy who's got a funny accent who gets up here running damage control for an entity in which he has no part in, allegedly. And he's naysaying everything that we're hypothesizing just to sort of get a feel of what's going on, but offers no solution, offers no insight on what the problem might be, other than just so happens on the day that Laura Loomer decides to defend the most unpopular talking point known to man, she gets deplatformed. And it was because maybe she broke a rule back in the day or something like that. I don't buy it.
No, hold on. And I want to make a point quickly though,
I
because
didn't break.
I feel extremely heavily censored by you, but I should demand accountability.
Adrian, I have a question for you. This is a very simple question. Could you explain why Nick Fuentes' docs has 16 million views?
Oh, by the way, about the Barry Stanton thing,
No.
Barry Stanton thing, I actually do recall something now.
Why
No. Let me finish. Let me finish on this about the Barry Stanton thing. He was claiming to be in a very specific location where the stuff that he was posting was actually violating the laws of that location. Whether or not he was in that location or not, he was at least pretending to be in that location.
Is
And
that
because of the
illegal?
way that the laws are set up in the UK, they had to act upon those exact laws because that's exactly what is stated and what X's mission is going to be. They've said it so themselves. If you were to read some of their posts.
All right, Adrian, I was
on.
wondering, Adrian, if you could explain to me why I have had my subscription shut down and why, as a supporter of premium and a supporter of independent journalism and citizen journalism on X, I've had my verification taken away for simply questioning Elon Musk for, going against a major Trump policy. If you watch videos, and I have this video, it's one of my last tweets that I made. It's President Trump in 2016 saying the reason why he wants to eliminate the H-1B policy. So as somebody who has been an original Trump supporter, I voted for President Trump in 2016. I worked to get him elected in 2016, always supported him all throughout his first term, voted for him in 2020, voted for him in 2024. Why am I being punished for simply reminding people about what these original Trump policies were? I want to.
Because you were harassing, targeted harassment. Effectively, you were harassing Saram.
I'm not
How?
harassing
Why is it just
Saram.
Laura? Why is it just
I'm not
Laura?
That's
harassing
exactly
him.
what you've
I'm
done.
not harassing him. I want to understand.
Well, no, you're not
Why
doing
is
it
it just
anymore,
Laura?
potentially, but you were doing it before.
I was not.
It's
I
everyone
wasn't
under
harassing
conservative.
him.
It is
I want
everyone under
accountability.
conservative.
These are people who are going to be serving in the Trump administration, so they should be held to a higher standard.
What's wrong with this specific guy? What's wrong with this guy?
He's wrong on
I had
immigration.
a,
That's the point. He's a worker.
I
He
had
has
some
his position
No,
concerns.
on it.
what's
I'm
wrong with this
explaining.
guy
Let me
personally
explain.
in his
Okay, all right.
clarification? Like,
I had some
what is his
concerns.
qualification that
I'm
makes?
I
gonna
had some
make the
concerns.
executive decision to remove Adrian because
No,
I don't
don't
no
remove
no
him.
no
Don't
no no
remove
listen.
him. Don't
No,
remove
It's
him.
detracting
no,
from the
no.
entire it's detracting from the entire conversation. We're not going to get anywhere when he's bringing up stuff that has nothing to do with the subject matter of the conversation, which is the fact that we were politically targeted. It's seemingly so. And he's offering no solution to it. There's no point in having a counter argument where there's no argument. It's just no, 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 no explanation behind it, and starting up more, drama, riling up the crowds for no reason. We want to talk about the substance of this thing because at the end of the day, it wasn't just Laura Loomer who was attacked. Namely, she was the one who was attacked the most and the most obviously, but it was all the rest of us too. And the fact that we pay for an organization bill every single month, and now we don't have that, and we've been undercut significantly. So I don't want to have personally, as the one who has the org, uh, and speaking on behalf of it, to have this conversation detracted from in any way. So Laura, feel free to air out everything that you want to say, but I don't want to have this Adrian guy in here when he's not contributing to the conversation anyway.
I don't think that we. Okay, stop
Glitch.
muting me or else I'm leaving. I just said I don't think that we should remove Adrian. Don't invite me to a space and ask me to come to your fucking space if you're going to mute me, okay? Like I'm willing to have a conversation.
That was a
Okay,
glitch,
but
I
I'm just
think.
tired of it, okay? So don't
Was a
don't
glitch.
mute the button. If you press the mute button one more time, I'm leaving. I don't think that Adrian should be muted from the conversation either because well, we're having a conversation and I want to hear the perspectives. I want to understand how people really think that I'm target harassing this guy simply because I have questions. I have questions about the people that are going to be serving in the Trump administration. This isn't something new. I'm known for questioning everybody. I question people on the left and the right. I've been doing it for years. So if people want to accuse me of harassing some guy that works in Silicon Valley and they want to say that I'm like an anti-Indian racist, that's just it's just categorically false. I've been very complimentary towards people like Vivek Ramaswamy and other Indians, and I have no problem with Indian people. I just don't want American jobs to be given to foreigners. And I also think we have a serious immigration crisis in this country. Elon Musk believes the same thing. So why can't we just find common ground on the things that we agree upon and agree to disagree on the things that we don't agree on? Why do we have to silence people and take away their ability to have subscriptions and to have verified accounts? I really enjoy being able to share my thoughts. And I'm a long winded person. And now I have to have a small character limit. Why do I want to use a platform if I can't even express myself freely? I want to be able to post long form tweets in my investigative journalism. It's just, I think it's really unfair personally, but.
So can I ask a question? Are we like saying that the whole thing, as far as the conservative tag, was just randomly stopped?
I mean, like, there's not an explanation. That's the whole point. Like, there's no explanation at all for why we lost our,
Like,
our check marks. Up?
I don't
You
think
there?
that we should silence
Might be glitching.
I don't think that we should be silencing Adrian. I think he
Yeah,
should be shut
and
up
that's
and
fine
just
for you to
muted.
think. And look, Laura, I respect you, and we work together a lot. But my opinion, as the representing the org that it just happened to, I don't want
Okay, but
to,
I don't
regardless
care.
of
I
if
understand it's an org, but I paid
we're,
for premium
yeah,
outside of your
I
org. Okay,
understand that, but
I paid for premium outside of your org. This isn't about your org.
that's phenomenal. But what I'm trying to tell you is, this isn't to me in order to get more impressions, more followers. I am pissed about the fact that this just happened to all of our affiliates. So
Yeah,
if this guy's
I'm
gonna get
pissed
in here
about it
and
as well.
if he's gonna get in here and cloud what the subject matter is of the conversation, then I don't want to have him in. I don't care if it gets us more impressions. I want a solution, and that's what we're trying to do in
I don't
back
want
channels right now.
impressions. I want a solution as well. And screaming into an echo chamber with everybody who just had their account either demonetized or their verification taken away isn't going to go anywhere. Let's have a conversation with him and see where this goes. I don't think that we should be stooping to this their same level of silencing people and play stupid games and win stupid prizes. Okay, whatever. It's petty. Just
Well, we
get
got Owen Schroyer
nobody.
here. Owen, have you got anything to add?
Yeah, X Spaces is still gay. And you want to talk about petty? Laura, you just threatened to leave because Adrian left. Like, let's just focus on the
No, I threatened
conversation.
to
No,
leave
here we go. See,
because
this is
people
why
want
X
to
Spaces
press the
sucks.
mute the
I've
mute
I've
button.
I've
They want to
I've
press the mute
never.
button, and I
Here
think
we
it's
go.
obnoxious to text somebody and say, "Come to my space," and then to mute me. Don't
Here we
invite
go.
me and then mute
Yeah.
me. It's that simple. Let me talk,
Yeah.
or else I leave.
Okay.
Mhm.
Oh, and
See,
continue.
this is why X Spaces is obnoxious. You can rarely even ever have a productive conversation. So here's the deal. There's more people losing their check marks seemingly by the hour, and I don't think they were ever affiliated with us. And the one common factor, which is just easily observable because their tweets are still up, the one common factor is all of these people were critical of H-1B visas, foreign workers, or even specifically Elon Musk. Now, I'd quite frankly be shocked if Elon has anything to do with this. I'd like to think he has bigger issues to deal with, or he's too busy, or quite frankly, just doesn't care. So I feel like this doesn't have to do with Elon. I don't even want to comment on the Adrian Dittman situation. That's like an anomaly wrapped. That's like an anomaly wrapped in a riddle.
Yeah.
But here's the issue that I'm having, and most of the people I think in here, including Laura, knows it as good as anybody. We're kind of going through this acute PTSD of the censorship era, and we're all kind of sitting here like, whoa, is this platform that just gave me my voice back, a big following back, the impact of my work back, is it now beginning to censor people? Is it now beginning to pick and choose subjects to censor people over? And that's very concerning for people like Laura or myself who have been censored off every platform. And it has a major impact in your life and your ability to make a living and make a reach and have impactful work. And so it would appear, at least in the last whenever this started happening a couple hours ago, it would appear that this is centric around the HB1 visa debate, but we don't know. And that's what's really so concerning about it is we really don't have any answers. And I mean, obviously they hit our group, but you're saying that they haven't even given you an explanation for that?
No, I don't have any explanation. I didn't receive an email. I noticed that when I logged on to X, it said that my first of all, I tried sending a larger tweet, and then it said you can't send it, and it said it was sending it to the drafts. And
Is
so
that
then
because when you lose your account status, there's like limits on what you can
yeah,
send,
so
right?
when unless you have a premium account, you're limited to how long your tweets can be.
Yeah,
And that's one of the
right.
main things that they say is a benefit of getting premium. They say you're going to be able to increase your character limit. And everybody
Do
knows
we know? Do we know, Laura? Did you get hit with this before anyone else?
yeah, I got hit with it first.
So
And
you
then
were the first domino to fall, and then
yeah.
what? They hit the conservative group?
Yeah, so then I guess a few minutes later, 30 minutes later, people started noticing from their account that they from the conservative account that they were also getting de-verified or
Well,
unverified.
we said this was a shadow ban, Elon's new algorithm change with blocking people, etc. And we said this sounds like shadow ban, and within 30 seconds we got our
Well,
blue check mark put under review, and everything like that happened.
But you got, but nobody, I didn't get any notification either. So nobody got any
No.
sort of information about what the cause is. Nobody.
No.
No, there's and then they sent out a false message to all of my subscribers, and they said, "Oh, Laura Loomer just deactivated her subscriptions." I absolutely did not deactivate my subscriptions. Why would I, as an independent journalist, intentionally deactivate my subscriptions when I have people that want to support my work on a monthly basis because, well, they find what I say to be useful?
So what do
Why
you
would I do
think?
that?
Okay, so what do you think the cause is, Laura? What do you believe it is?
Well, I think that Elon Musk is sensitive. And I understand everybody has feelings. And I think that he feels a sense of resentment towards people that are openly critical because sometimes maybe he feels that he's not appreciated enough. And, I think that we owe him gratitude for purchasing X, but two things can be true at the same time. You can purchase X and you can be the richest man in the world, and you can have people that express gratitude to you towards for purchasing X and restoring their accounts. But also, with a lot of power and a lot of wealth comes this extra burden and responsibility to be able to accept constructive criticism and accountability. Okay, especially if you're going to be working in the Trump administration as he is. So I think he got a little sensitive today and retaliated against people. I mean, I know so. He clearly tweeted it when he replied to Mario and said yes when Mario said, "Play stupid games, win stupid prizes." So his feelings are hurt. And I don't think he should be retaliating against people just because they called him out. Then he said I was a
But even
troll.
even if he wanted to, even if he wanted to retaliate against you, I'm just trying to figure out why the group gets knocked out and then other dominoes have fallen as well. Do you think that was cooked into the? Because it tells
I
me
don't
that
know.
it's more than just Elon.
I don't know. I mean, I'm certainly not the only person. I started the conversation on H-1B visas, and my tweet about Saran went viral. And I think it was, I know it was justified and it was fair. I don't understand how it's targeted harassment. I mean, look, I can I can understand if Elon's taking it personally because he's friends with this guy. But I don't really care who's friends with who. I'm more focused on how this is going to be impacting us as American citizens with these people going to work in the Trump administration. So it is what it is. I mean, look, clearly he wants to retaliate and he wants to quote unquote teach me a lesson, whatever that means, because I poked the bear and criticized him. So it's unfortunate, right? I've been a supporter of encouraged people to get premium, and I've tried to practice my citizen journalism while still being banned on other sites, even though I was unjustly banned years ago for nonviolent political speech. But clearly, this is not a free speech platform if the owner of X is going to publicly say, like, fuck around, find out. Okay. Yeah. Great. So now nobody can criticize Elon, or else you're going to get your subscriptions taken away. That's nice. But
He's also
Well,
agreeing
I'm
with
again.
posts calling, sorry.
No, go ahead, Cassandra.
He's also agreeing with posts calling Americans retarded and stuff.
yeah.
Like,
Well,
Yeah.
it's
Well, it's not right. It's demoralizing, and I think it's disrespectful, and like, it makes me wonder, is that what they feel about JD Vance? Look, JD Vance obviously now has a lot of ties and associations to big tech, but the whole movie Hillbilly Elegy in the book was written and produced about his upbringing, and he clearly talks about how he grew up in a very poor, what a lot of people would call, and I'm not condoning this terminology, but white trash, right? That's how he grew up. And what if that was the attitude towards everybody that was like a JD Vance, that grew up in poverty, that had family members that were addicted to drugs and maybe weren't considered to be the smartest people? Would we have a JD Vance right now as the vice president? How many more JD Vances are there out there in the world living in Appalachia who they just need somebody to give them a chance. They just need someone to give him the extra push or give him the money for that calculator that he needed. If you watch that movie, right? When he couldn't afford the calculator and his grandmother paid for the calculator that he tried to steal from the store. Okay? How many people out there are like that? That are not foreigners, and yeah, maybe
Well,
we have
I don't
issues
look.
with our
I don't
educational
think
system here in America, and we need to
Laura,
improve
Laura,
STEM.
Laura. Laura, I don't think that the audience here tonight needs to hear the arguments about why we feel the way we feel. I think what we really want to do is try to figure out what's happening here and how to course correct
It's
it.
pretty obvious what's happening. I agree with you. We're being
So
retaliated
so then
against.
I would say if I'm thinking about this practically, because again, I don't want to rush to any conclusions. I think that there's an obvious situation happening, but we don't want to rush to any conclusions until we get an actual answer, if we even get one. But what I'm afraid of, which would explain everything, is that whether it's Elon or whether it's anybody in the tech industry, or who's behind censoring you and then the rest of us, but there's billions of dollars at stake here. I mean, that's
Yeah.
really that's really the problem. There's billions of dollars at stake when you can hire foreign workers at half the price who will work double the hours. There's
Yeah.
billions of dollars at stake, and so they were losing the debate. People were really upset about it, and so they've either intentionally put a chilling effect on the conversation, or they're just outright starting the process of censoring people who go against the agenda. And so that's my concern. And I would say too, just from being through this, and I know you can relate to this too, Laura. Now I'm at a point where I don't honestly, right currently, I don't feel safe on this app. I've told everybody that's direct messaging me to stop. I've sent them other ways to communicate with me. I guarantee you this conversation is being monitored 100%.
Yeah.
And so this is, I don't know. I'm really concerned about this.
I'm concerned too.
I hope that there's a course correct by the end of the day tomorrow, and a real policy statement, and not just some, grumbling about a conversation not going your way. Because we're going to have to, I mean, quite frankly, we better start looking at alternatives if this is how it's going to be,
Right.
fast.
I mean,
Well,
Elon.
I also think it's really interesting how, I mean, look, the Adrian Dittman character is still listening. Who knows if it's Elon? Some people have said, oh, this is Elon's alt account, regardless of whether it is or not. I think it's interesting how he said, "Oh, you were creating chaos." Elon Musk loves chaos. I mean, honestly, this guy loves chaos. He loves getting the liberal media riled up every single day. He loves, calling himself or entertaining this joke of President Musk, even though it's starting to really not look like a joke. So it's kind of ironic that he's saying, "Oh, you were creating chaos on the platform." He loves chaos. His whole platform is based off of chaos going viral. That's how they monetize, is chaos going viral. He said so himself, where he talks about, oh, wow, it's amazing that all these conversations are happening on X. You are the media now. Well, if we're the media now, we should be able to have conversations. And if it leads to chaos, well, that's just a natural effect of people reacting to learning about our immigration system or learning about how American tech workers are getting ripped off. That's just the natural order of things. It's kind of disingenuous to say you're causing chaos. You either support citizen journalism and the avalanche of reactions that come with citizen journalism, or you don't. So
I
it is
mean,
what it is.
Yeah, Cassandra, do you have anything to
yeah.
say?
I'm
So
sure he'll ban me.
the post that Elon just agreed with said, so basically the right split into two factions, tech right and right, and it's talking about the whole war between the two. And he wrote, that sums it up, which means he's acknowledging that it's the actual right versus the tech right, and the tech right are all liberals who jumped on the Trump train 5 minutes ago, threw some money at it so that they could influence it, and they're realizing that the people who are actually on the right aren't going along with it. The problem is that they are going to win because they own the platforms. They can read our DMs. They can, kind of what Owen was saying, how he doesn't feel safe on the platform. I think we're all pretty screwed unless we either get on alternative platforms, or I don't
Like what?
really know.
There's
We're
nothing.
not going to
There's really
win.
nothing else. There's really nothing else. There's true
There is
social.
there is something
So
that's kind of coming up I do want to mention here called Noster. It's an interesting protocol. It's built on Bitcoin. A lot of guys from that whole realm, like Marty Bent from Tales from the Crypto, are using it. It's basically making tweets the same as uncensorable Bitcoin transactions, essentially. So you can't be deplatformed. It doesn't matter what client you use. It's pretty interesting. It's NOSTR for anybody that's a tech head.
Well, I'm looking at Rumble as, with the current status on X, now the free speech platform to go to. And I know it's not the same format as X. Obviously, it's more for videos and uploading and live videos. But this is, I think we would all agree, this is much bigger than the payout discrepancies, which had its own issues. This is much bigger than some of the other policies that have turned a lot of X's content into clickbait and glitch bait. This is probably the most serious issue on X since Elon Musk purchased it. And I would say the first time, despite maybe limited cases of censorship, the first time where people are looking at this and feeling like this is a case of potential massive censorship. And we have to, and then, because here's what I want to know. What I want to know, and I mean, I think it should be answered for the sake of transparency, but I want to know what led to this process. What led to the process of Loomer being the first domino to fall, and then everyone in the group falling, and then since there have also been other individuals that have fallen as well. I'd like to know the process that led to that, because somebody made that decision. Somebody made that decision and clicked a button that said you're out. And that is a very dangerous precedent and a very dangerous practice.
Has Rumble considered making like a side-by-side application, something that is still Rumble but text-based? Because if not, somebody should suggest that to them.
Well, what about Gab?
I haven't been
The
on
truth
Gab in
Anyway,
is, look,
ages.
well,
guys, the truth is we've been fighting this battle of censorship for almost 8 years, and it's almost impossible to win. Rumble is really like the only success story. If you look at every other alternative platform that's come up, it's barely made a blip on the radar. And I like Gab, and I really like Andrew Torba. He really believes in free speech. But Gab has been around for almost a decade, and it doesn't get near the traffic that any of these big platforms get.
Now, the reality is we're going to have to do our best to reform the situation we've got going on over
I will
here.
also say that
But
is somebody
obviously, after
talking?
a day like today, it's discouraging.
well, so in terms of like what brought this entire thing to happen, I mean, basically from what happened was, from my perspective, is that Loomer was really going after the system, H1B and all that. Elon Musk, gave her a name. He called her, a troll or whatever. She responded and said that's not true. She's speaking up for people who are conservative, who don't want to have mass legal immigration, H1B visa system, rampant abuse. And I believe within like 30 minutes or so, or an hour, the hit happened, and Loomer lost her check mark and her subscribers. Then we all lost all of our check marks and all of that. But Loomer specifically is the only one, to my knowledge, who lost subscribers specifically, because I don't have a notification at all, which is
Yeah,
weird.
but also they're not even letting me subscribe. So I was already subscribed to premium on my own. My bank statements clearly
Yeah.
show that I pay for premium on my own. So just because you have a badge or affiliated with a badge doesn't mean that they're paying for your premium. If you already pay for premium, it charges your own card. So I already was paying for premium. And now when I try to click, because it says get verified, it won't even allow me to try to get verified anymore, because it won't even allow me to buy premium. So now I'm stuck in the most basic form of Twitter, even though I'm trying to purchase. I don't even know why I have to purchase it. I've already purchased it and it charged my card for this month. So it's clearly an attempt to, prevent me from being able to express myself freely, because I'm not even allowed to participate in premium like everybody else is if they're willing to pay for the service. So, not allowed to monetize my account, not even allowed to pay for the enhanced service of being able to utilize Grok and have an extended character count. So, I really don't understand what the big deal is. I'm focused on a policy that President Trump is on video saying that he wants to eradicate. I posted the video like 20 times today on my Twitter account. This is not us coming up with a policy and trying to push President Trump to be more right wing or to be more conservative. This is something that he promised his base in 2016. And I'm just reminding everybody that the big tech bros aren't aware of what the original MAGA immigration policies are, because, well, they really haven't been Trump supporters for more than a year. They haven't been Trump supporters for more than 4 months. And it's not
Yeah.
confrontational to point out the facts like I did today. Elon Musk supported Ron DeSantis. We all remember that god awful Twitter space, the worst fucking Twitter space ever, failure to launch. Okay, that's what they call it. When Elon and David Sachs hosted Ron DeSantis's campaign kickoff, right? So he supported him. Then he's tweeted nonstop that like Trump was too old, that he could never stand Trump's personality. Then he went after people like Steve Bannon and other people that were considered to be Trump loyalists. And then all of a sudden, the day after Trump got shot in the head, he's like, "Oh, I'm endorsing Trump." Well, that's great. I mean, yeah, obviously everyone looked like an idiot if they didn't endorse Trump right after he almost took a bullet to his head for all of us when a crazed assassin showed up in Butler, Pennsylvania. But
Yeah.
are you really the best and brightest? Again, I'm going to ask this question. Are you really the best and brightest if it took you over 8 years to realize that Donald Trump was not the problem? Are you really the best and brightest if you couldn't realize that the 2020 election was stolen, or that the Democrats were lying when they said that the border was secure, or that the Democrats were lying when they said there was Russia collusion, or that the Democrats were lying when they said that they didn't collude with big tech and the FBI to censor our elections and shut down our voices and poison everybody with COVID-19 propaganda. So, um, it seems like these people just want to walk in. There must have been some memo that was sent out because every single tech bro is walking into Mar-a-Lago with a $1 million check and having their dinner with Trump, and they think that they're just immune from accountability. They're just buying their way onto the Trump inaugural committee, and
It's economic opportunism is
yeah,
what it is.
it's
It's
just
them
economic
wanting money.
opportunism. So
Yeah.
I don't understand what I'm being punished for. And then it's so funny they try to gaslight you and say, "Oh, so do you really actually like care about free speech, or do you care about being monetized?" Well, if we're promoting X as a platform to be used by citizen journalists, and you're trying to say, "Oh, come over to X instead of these other sites
Right.
because we're better," well, why should I feel shame in wanting to be monetized and wanting to have subscriptions and be able to have a verified account if I'm a journalist? I
Right.
went to school for journalism. I have a degree in broadcast communication and political science. I was valedictorian of my class. I graduated with a 4.0 GPA. So why am I supposed to be shamed all of a sudden into being like, "Oh, well, you're a grifter if you want to monetize your account"? That's what Elon Musk said. Monetize your account. It's premium. You can be a citizen journalist on X. So now I'm being shamed and called a troll, or having my intentions for wanting to be on the platform questioned simply because I want to be able to pursue my degree that I paid for.
Right. Um we got Eric in here, Eric Finman. Do you have anything to say?
Hey, yeah, thank you so much. And it's been horrible to see, people just lose monetization. It is absolutely insane. And I think, as Laura said, both things can be true. Trump or Elon spent $44 billion on, buying Twitter, to making it X and making it about free speech in many ways. Also, and then at the same time, it's there are these guardrails, and that's a nice way to put it. I even think Owen did a video a little bit ago or a bit ago where clearly monetization. There's favorites in the monetization game, which everyone knows. But I think ultimately, life is unfair, and we live in an unfair world. And I think what is very clear, unfortunately, but also clarity is good, that you can pretty much talk about anything. I think even including criticizing H-1B visas, but you can't come at the king, and that's unfortunate. And I think that is some clarity tonight, and I wish that wasn't the case, but clearly it is.
You can't
So
come at the king. This isn't a fucking goddamn monarchy, okay? It's a
it is though.
constitutional
It is
republic.
though.
No.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I
Well,
think
I
I
think
It's
I
think
think that that's
ridiculous.
look. I think that we have to take everything in fairness here, and that's just a true statement. I think that that's a true statement. But if this is an issue of you know, Laura taking one to the chin from the king, not like that's something unfamiliar to her. Now we're talking, however, about other people being punished for Laura's behavior. If that's what's going on here, and if we're willing to sacrifice that, okay, that's the likely scenario. Well,
I don't think so. I don't think it had. I mean, I disagree. I mean, maybe Maybe you've seen it better than I have. I don't think I've seen other people. I don't think Laura was like just the person. Everyone else got banned because of Laura. I do think it was the larger H1B thing, and a lot
Yeah.
of people in the conservative network, just talking about the H1B, like even outside the conservative OG network. I don't think it was Laura at all causing all these kind of cascading effect. Other than maybe, yeah, just a lot of people talking about the H1B issue. And then, yeah, other people outside the conservative OG network and outside of Laura Loomer's, I guess, network of world, people suffered the same thing. So I don't think it was Laura at all, but maybe you have more information than me.
Well, I think that again, I don't want to assume anything. I just have to observe and report what I've seen, and that's that Laura was the first domino to fall. Laura's affiliated group was the second domino to fall. But yes, there have been others that have fallen since then that, I mean, I don't think they have any direct relationship or affiliation with Laura other than we were all critical of the
Yeah.
H-1B visa program.
And pretty that is, I don't know who it was either. Obviously, it seems like it was maybe Laura since she has the biggest reach and it happened to her first, but we don't know. And that is true. Most of our affiliates were talking about this HP1 thing. Most of our affiliates were talking about these god awful, Indian folks that they're putting in charge of AI policy and whatnot. So who knows whether it was something that culminated.
Wow.
To me, that's
I
it doesn't
just
matter.
I just got a notification from Twitter that they're deleting my post about Saram, and they're also limiting my account for 12 hours. So I can't post it because
Terrible.
they
That's
just limited
terrible. I'm
my
sorry.
account. But yeah,
Oh
they're
my
limiting my
gosh.
account. So
The
it's
thing is,
just
it's
so
weird. It's
crazy.
weird though. We had an influencer today, Braden Sorbo, Kevin Sorbo's son, who had his account suspended for a certain amount of time, and it didn't have any effect on the rest of the affiliates. So I just don't know how that theory jives with what we're going through right
Hey,
now.
Laura, I don't want to give you any ideas here, okay? But I will just say, very noble of you not to even mention that you're Jewish or that this is an anti-Semitic attack on you. Very, very strong and noteworthy.
Yeah, well, they don't give a shit. Like, they don't care. I've learned that a long time ago that if you're not the right type of Jew, they don't give a
Yeah,
fuck if you're Jewish. So,
indeed.
like they don't care. I watched them try to erase my Jewishness. Like, you want to talk about that? When I ran for Congress, when I was the
Have you
full,
asked have you
I was
asked for
I was
support
the
from Ben Shapiro?
he doesn't care about me. He cares about himself. So I
I'm
watched them.
surprised Laura Loomer
I
is
watched
Jewish,
them try
honestly.
to erase my Jewishness when I ran for Congress, and the headlines were "Far Right Activist Runs Against Jewish Democrat Congresswoman." Like, we weren't both Jewish, right? So,
We're
you
all
know,
we're all we're all Jewish tonight.
it's just really interesting to me how you're not allowed to criticize anybody who's going into the Trump administration if they have conflicting views, or they've done things or said things, or they share positions that are not in alignment with Trump and his base. So I can't post it because I literally just got suspended for 12 hours. So I'll have to text the screenshot to one of you. But yeah, they literally just made me delete my tweet. Well, I guess they just deleted it anyway. They said that I was sharing personal information, even though the screenshot that I posted clearly X'd out all of the addresses and the personal information on
Did
the
you get
episode.
a screenshot of the notification that they sent
Yeah,
you?
I have all the screenshots. I just took screenshots, but I can't post it because I'm blocked for 12 hours now. So
Do you want to send that to me? I'll post it.
yeah, I'll send it to you. But it's fucked up. Like, I have fought for President Trump harder than most. I've been a loyal soldier to President Trump. And look, even now, I got fucked over. I mean, look at how I've been treated ever since I traveled with the president to the debate. I was invited by President Trump to travel as his personal guest to the debate. And then I was demonized they said I'm the reason why President Trump said that migrants are eating people's pets, even though JD Vance said the same fucking thing. So it's so funny. I'm just fighting for the American people and fighting against mass migration and fighting against this abuse of the American tech worker. And I've just been completely shit on and demonized, It's totally unfair. And
Yeah,
I think
Laura.
it's a testament to how MAGA is going to be treated in this administration if big tech is allowed to just walk into Mar-a-Lago and do whatever they want to do. I
Yeah, Laura, send me a text of that screenshot. I'll post that for you. And I'm not going to
yeah.
go into my rap sheet, but I completely understand where you're coming from. You know, I didn't go through everything just to get Trump into office. I've gone through everything for the American people. Even the liberals that hate my guts, I want them to have a free, prosperous life too. But send
Yeah.
me that screenshot so I can post that so people know what's going on.
Well,
Because
Adrian
this is actually
Dittman
next
is
level because this tells me that there's an ongoing conversation about your account and likely what to do with the others as well. Like this is an ongoing thing happening right now at X.
yeah. Owen, Adrian Dittman's requesting to join. I mean, leave it up to you guys. Y'all wanna have the conversation with him?
I think he should be
Uh,
up here.
I
But
don't care. It's your space, dude.
yeah, I want to bring him up because a couple points I want because I
That's
think
fine. Let him up. But
because
also, I'm letting you know, I'm sending you the screenshots right now, Owen, but they're lying. Twitter should be held accountable for lying and saying that one, I deactivated my own subscribers, and two, I didn't share personal information. It's a public
So
FEC
you just
document.
literally admitted to harassing this dude because he was Indian. This is literally what
I
just
never
was
said that. What are you
revealed
All right,
here.
hey
talking
Laura,
about?
just
What did I
send
We
me
say?
just
that
received a
screenshot
we
Where
and
did
just
I
send me your
received
say?
statement.
we
Where did
just
I
received an
say
okay.
I
That's exactly what
harassed
you
him
just
for
fucking
being
said.
Indian? Where did I
That's exactly
say?
what just fucking been stated.
That's not what I just said. What are you talking about?
No, you were reciting what was appearing on your phone apparently as a notification, and that was the reason for why your account was supposedly like, I don't know,
That's
blocked
what
or
they're
muted for
saying. It's
12
not true.
hours.
It's not true. It's not true
No,
because
you
I didn't.
literally harassed the dude for no reason.
I didn't
that's not
harass
what
Just
him.
because
you
he's Indian.
said.
That's
Stop,
That's
stop,
literally what you
stop.
did.
Oh, I have one
no,
person
I
talk.
didn't.
Wait,
They can
wait.
say whatever they want to say. It's not
No,
true.
that's actually it's basically what you did. You
No,
have
no.
a problem
I
with
want
this
to.
one guy who's a politician, not because of his policies, but specifically because of his race.
He's not a politician. He's a tech advisor he's now going to be working with David Sachs in the Trump administration. He's not a politician.
Well, if you work in the administration, do you not somewhat deal with things that are political in
You
nature
are,
and
but
thereby become a politician by
he's not
execution?
somebody who we elected. A politician is somebody who runs for office who's elected. I mean, these are unelected bureaucrats.
What?
Yes. I don't
Oh my
maybe we have a
god.
different
Do
understanding
you have
of
any
what
idea how ridiculous all of this sounds, right?
No, I consider
Do you know? Oh my
I
god.
consider a politician to be somebody who runs for office and they either are elected or they're not elected. But he didn't run for office. So he was appointed to a
You know, if he's not a
position
politician, then why are you targeting him as much?
because I'm concerned about the people that are going to be advising on policy in the Trump administration.
You're
It's that
concerned about his race?
no,
Then why
Okay.
specifically
So
were you mentioning his race more than anything else?
I wasn't. I was highlighting the fact that he's an Indian immigrant
That's
maybe
exactly what that
clouds
is.
his
you have to let her finish the
no,
point,
it
Adrian.
clouds
You have to let her finish the point.
it clouds his judgment
This
on
is
this
what you call an
issue.
admission?
No,
To
it's
be
about
fair, by the way,
perspective.
to be fair,
Let's let people speak. Let's not talk over people.
I am letting him speak. I'm the one
I'm
that said
talking
he should
to
come back.
Adrian, Laura. I'm talking to Adrian.
So, but wait a
so you're
second. But
talking
wait a
out of
second.
your ass.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. So what is the precedent that we're talking about here? You can't be critical of somebody because you're concerned that their nationality might
You can't be
influence
racist.
policy.
You can't be racist. Your
If
nationality is
someone's
American.
from Russia, it should be, you should be able to talk about that. If someone's from a particular country, a particular I'm a dual citizen with the UK. I absolutely have loyalties to the UK. I lived there for many years. I have family there. I think these are open things to talk about if someone's working in a very powerful position in government.
So the point that Loomer was making specifically was that this the point that she's making was that the post that was claimed that was a harassment was not harassment and that wasn't on racial grounds. That was what Loomer was talking about initially before Adrian responded and asked whether it was racial or not. Is that correct, Loomer? Is that a correct assessment of what happened?
Sorry, it cut out. If you could just repeat
Yeah.
that because it
So
was glitchy.
you brought up that you got a notification about a post for harassment, and then you said one, it wasn't harassment, and two, It wasn't racial or anything like that. It was
No,
specifically
I was answering Owen's question
yeah.
because Owen asked me. He said, "Did you get like a notification right now when it said you're suspended for 12 hours?" And I said, "Yes." So I was pulling it up because I'm texting it to him right now, and I'll read it to you. It says, "Let me pull it up." It says, "We have temporarily limited some of your account features. We determined that you violated X rules. So we've temporarily limited your account features. While in the state, you can still browse X, but you're limited to only sending direct messages to your followers. No posts, reposts, follows, or likes. Your account will be restored to its functionality in 11 hours, 59 minutes." And then there was another one for another screen that said, "What happened?" Well, it says, "We've determined that this account has violated the X rules. For one, violating our rules against posting private information." So I posted an FEC report, and the FEC report was blurred out. And I specifically blurred out the address because, not that I needed to, because it's a public document and it's citizen journalism, but because I didn't want to be accused of posting private information. So the screenshot clearly shows that it's blurred out with a gray blurb. I mean, I edited it and made sure that it was covered. So I don't understand how they can say that I posted people's private information. I don't know if other people posted the same screenshot and left the personal information on, but you can go back and look at my post if Twitter hasn't already deleted it, and you can see for yourself. Or I'm happy to send you.
So
I
wait,
have the screenshot
Laura,
of my.
are you clear then on what it was they're claiming you did? Are
Yeah,
you now clear?
they're saying that I just read it to you. They said violating rules against posting private information. They didn't say that's the reason why they took away my check mark or took away my
So
subscription.
so they're not claiming, or is that part of the harassment? Is that part of
They
harassment?
didn't say I harassed anyone. Adrian Dittman put those words in my mouth because he wanted to keep
You
the
literally
lawsuit.
said those exact words.
I said that they're accusing me of violating rules against posting private information. And then you previously, before you
No,
left the
no,
conversation,
no,
said that I
no.
harassed.
That's not what you said. That's not what you said. In response
That's
to the notification, the
I'm
harassment thing
reading you
literally fucking
exactly.
came up.
I'm reading
That
you
is exactly
exactly
what
what
you
they
said.
said.
So wait, is
I'm
this
reading
space
it word
recorded?
for
Because
word.
somebody can just pull the
Yeah,
audio
it's
if this
recorded.
space is
So
recorded.
okay.
I'm reading
Yeah,
it word.
it is
Okay.
I'm
recorded.
reading it.
100%. You can run it back.
Okay,
I'm
then so let
reading
me do
it
that.
word
But
for word.
let's just have a conversation in good faith or whatever. So so the point that X was trying to get you for was
But listen,
yeah.
if you go back and you listen to the space, you will hear Adrian say, "Oh, you were target harassing Saram," and I said
It's
no.
harassing, not harassing. What the fuck?
I didn't say harassing. I said harassing.
Okay.
That's literally
Okay.
what you
So
just did, though.
the
And
okay.
it's funny that you like deny
Okay.
the things that you've said. This is like very dangerous and very damaging to your reputation and anyone else who is a
I'm.
citizen
You can
journalist.
go listen to the audio. I'm reading you
Okay.
word for word what it says, and
You
So
I'm
do
happy to
realize
send
that I'm
it
like
to Owen.
basically in parallel hosting a space where there's like almost 1,000 people listening to the same shit right now and are basically having a fucking humor meltdown laughing about this shit, right?
okay, cool. Can we get back to like just actual points
They're
here?
happy. If you would, if my account were to not be frozen for 12 hours, I could post the screenshot and everybody could see for themselves. I'm reading it, but you keep interrupting.
You know, it's a thing. You know that what you've just said was you can DM someone the screenshot, right?
Yeah, and I'm gonna send them the DM, and I'm gonna send it to them right now. But I would like to be able to post it myself. I don't want to have other people speaking for me.
Well, then I don't know. Maybe you should be violating terms of service.
I'm not violating terms of service. I just read to you what it said, and it said
Okay.
that I
If we're
posted
gonna
private
just try being
information.
like having a dialogue,
But
I agree with
I'm
you, Loomer.
telling you, I didn't post
I like
personal
drink zero
information.
alcohol, but this is really selling me on the idea.
But wait a
So
second. Hold on a second. Okay, so let's wait a second though. Wait a second. Let's say she violated the terms of just for sake of conversation.
But I
Let's say
Stop
Laura,
gaslighting
hold on, hold
Dude,
people.
you
on.
don't have to be like
Just for
so
the sake,
close to the
just hold
microphone.
on,
You
hold on.
sound like you're yelling all of your words.
For the sake of this conversation, let's say that Laura violated a terms of service that results in what she now has a 12-hour lock on her account. We've never before, at least I've never heard of, this seems to be a new phenomenon of somebody losing their badge and their verification and then other people affiliated with her having the same punishment. That seems to be a new phenomenon.
but okay, so yeah, that's true. But the point again is that like this whole quote violation was specifically for private information, and I believe that you said that you blurred the FEC report, and I think in that post you mentioned that in case they try getting me, I blurred it out or whatever. Is that accurate, Laura?
Yeah, I clearly
Okay.
said that I blurred the address, even though I technically didn't need to because it's a public document. But
Right. So that's the whole point. So you, at least from what your message is saying, that it was about private information. It was an FEC report, which is
yeah,
public.
it didn't say targeted harassment. It
Right.
said, I'll send it to you right now, and then you can post it if you want.
I'll wait for you
Okay,
to
but
post that on your account and get back.
here's the issue though. Here's the
Yeah.
issue that we have to address. There are multiple people in this space right now who got censored this evening that didn't violate any terms of service and are seemingly being punished for either an opinion or being affiliated with Laura. We do not know. And so that is the larger issue that we need to figure out, and we're not getting any answers on. So even if
All
you
right,
want to
now
say,
I can't send it because it says clearly in the message that you're allowed to send DMs if your account's restricted, but they must be making an exception for me because now I can't even send you a DM. So I'm gonna have to text it to you, Owen, because I don't have Chief's numbers. So
all
it's
right, well, you can
clearly an
just text
effort to
me.
just target me.
You can text me whatever you want.
I just sent it.
I
I
posted
just sent
your
it to you.
I posted your locked out notification. But I'm saying, even for the sake of this conversation, if we're willing to sacrifice that Laura violated a term of service and so therefore she's being punished, there's a larger punishment happening that's either for being affiliated with Laura or because you had a critical opinion of H-1B visas. And so this is the big question of the night. And we can focus on Laura, and that's fine. She deals with censorship all the time, but I think we're more concerned about censorship on X being the larger problem here. And I think that there's an undeniable phenomenon that we've witnessed in the last, say, 5 hours of what appears to be the next level of censorship on X.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's worth having a discussion about why first of all, an incorrect label or an incorrect like reason for lockout for 12 hours warrants not only a loss of subscribers, but a cross the board knock on Owen, Cassandra, and all the people in conservative OG with their check mark. It's a cross platform issue with that, but specifically with Loomer, it is very targeted towards her. And the post that she's talking about, I believe I saw it, and she did specifically say in that post, in case they try getting me or something, I blurted out. Meanwhile, she took the
Yeah,
care to censor, or not, basically try hiding out personal details like that to avoid being tagged, like basically what just happened, I guess. So,
it just
unique.
sounds very personal because he's friends with him. He can there's I get doxxed all the time. If you go and you look online, there were so many Indian accounts today posting my personal cell phone number, and of course, none of those people are getting shut down or silenced. And I can name countless accounts that have spread false information about me and targeted me and harassed me and doxed me and said malicious, false, defamatory things about me, and I've reported them. And there are even people who work at Twitter. I'm not going to say who because, I'm not going to disclose their identity, who have even told me that they suspect that some of the accounts that have targeted me and doxed me are protected accounts because they have not been taken down, even though from their own professional opinion and their own training at X, the posts clearly violate terms of service. So it just seems to be selective outrage. And okay, well, if you find my post to be a problem, like why can't there be a process where they review the post and then you can put in a petition or a review for why you think the post is not a violation of terms of service? Why do we have to escalate it to silencing people and taking away their subscriptions and taking away their verification? It's so over the top. Maybe Adrian can reply.
Yeah, I agree. So, I mean, Adrian, you heard so from the description of the problem that Loomer had, where she had a post that was dinged for privacy or basically, posting personal information or whatever, which was involving an FEC report, which she blurred out, and in that post mentioned that she tried to avoid any sort of issue with TOS, which is why she blurred
Can you
out
show
the
me
event
the
time.
posts in question? Because normally, when you are doing anything and one of the posts is found to be a violation of any kind, they actually send you an email with the post in question. Can you send us these posts?
I can't because they just limited my account. So if you
No,
can
no.
try to,
In an email, they tell you what has happened,
I have not received
why
an
it has
email.
happened,
I
and
said that
show
earlier.
you.
I said that earlier.
Okay, so Owen,
I didn't receive an email.
Okay, so Owen, did you receive the any sort of information from Loomer about
Yeah, I
about
posted
Just
I
getting more
posted
convoluted by the minute.
I posted the notifications that she was sent, but it does not include the tweet or the post rather in question.
Yeah, because I did not receive an email.
Okay, so you can look at Owen's account, and I'll let me look through here. I'm looking at this the first time here. So it says temporary limits some of your account features, and it says delete the content that violates our rules one post. So if I'm correct, the post you're mentioning is that FEC report, because I remember seeing on my timeline in glancing or whatever like a couple
Yeah.
hours or so ago. So it was an FEC report that had blurred out bars or personal information, and you mentioned in said post that you did that to avoid being knocked by the TOS, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So I know the post you're talking about. I saw it on my timeline. It was that's the whole that was the entire thing. She didn't say lives at XYZ or whatever. She made it clear in that post
No.
that she wanted to avoid being hit with TOS.
Yeah, because I'm not trying to get
Right.
anybody hurt or send anybody to anyone's house. I just want there to be a conversation, an honest conversation about immigration and the Trump administration.
Right.
I'm not trying to send anybody to anyone's home. I was very conscious about blurring the address.
Okay. Right. So that's where we're at right now. That's the information we have. So
And I do not hate Indians. I've actually tweeted publicly that, well, prior to all of this, and prior to Vivek's comments today and yesterday, I had actually tweeted publicly that I thought Vivek was a great communicator, and that in the future, if he were to run for president, that I would have supported him. So I clearly don't agree with what he said today, but to say that I hate Indians, or to say that I targeted this guy, or I even posted my original tweet about him because he's Indian, is just not true. I think that we need to have a conversation about the disproportionate number of Indian and also Chinese H-1B visa recipients, but I don't hate Indian people.
right. Okay. So
But
that
Adrian said I do, and
okay. Well,
perhaps
Wait, what did I say
you clear up.
specifically?
you said that
Hold up a second. What did I say?
you said earlier that I don't like Saran because he's Indian, and I targeted him because he's Indian, and I don't
That
think
was the
that.
nature of your posts, and you
But
blurted
I
that out as being
but I
somehow part of the notification.
just said to you that I have a concern about the disproportionate amount of Indian immigrants that are receiving H-1B visas.
And why would you have a concern about this in reference to this guy specifically, given that he has nothing to do with immigration?
Because I have a problem with his previous comments on H-1B visas that I posted screenshots.
Now, why would you have a problem with him? That's not a thing that he's going to deal with. That's not a thing he's going to deal with in official capacity. He's going to deal with the exact opposite of that.
Because I look at what people have said. I do this. I'm known for this. Okay. If you
Okay, what specifically about the H1? What specifically did he say that ticked you off so much?
I posted a couple screenshots of it. I have to pull them up. I literally cannot access my tweets right now because I'm locked out of.
But you can't remember what pissed you off to the post that you made it to the point that you made a post?
On my phone. Let me pull them up right now.
Yeah,
I'm gonna read them. I want to be specific.
The critiques I've been around,
quoting the tweet word for word.
Hold on, I'll pull.
Yeah, why would you single this guy out specifically just because you want to address the visa thing?
Because
maybe you want to address someone who actually is in an official capacity there?
I've been commenting on all of the Trump appointments and all of the nominees, especially people who are coming from Silicon Valley.
Yeah, so he
What's your problem with people who come from Silicon Valley?
Well, if you want me to be completely honest with you, I'm very skeptical of Silicon Valley and people who have worked in Silicon Valley and associated with career leftists, as I call them, because of the way that they have discriminated against conservatives and Trump supporters.
Associated with them how?
They work with them. They
Chief, can I?
They're on podcasts with them.
Worked with them how? As in
Chief,
because they
can
worked
I
in a
just
They've
jump
worked
in
with
company?
here
them.
Does
really
this mean
quick?
that like
They've worked
does
with
this mean
them.
that
I'll get to that
therefore,
later.
if I was here on X before its acquisition that actually turned into X, that I was somehow in cahoots with the leftists because I had an account on a fucking what was basically back then a leftist platform?
Well,
Because that's the same logic.
if you're Elon Musk and you're not just somebody trolling and pretending to be
I'm not
Elon Musk.
fucking Elon Musk. Get this
Okay.
in your head. You are supposedly a journalist.
I never said
How
you
do you not
are.
get
I said
this?
if you are. I'm not saying
If
you
you
are.
are, there's no if here. There's no even the idea of even putting this in the conversation at all is completely
He's
uncalled for
not
and just
I
Elon
completely
Musk.
mean,
He's not
nonsensical.
let it
Elon
Yeah,
be
Musk.
so you
clear
can
that you
Look it
want
up
people
online.
to
I'll get
think you're
back to it in a few
Elon.
minutes here.
Adrian
How
is
is this
not
like
Elon Musk.
the
Chief,
only thing that's actually
can
somewhat
I just please
it's
comment?
something
I
that we're
want to
still
address
contesting?
Adrian. I'd like to address Adrian.
Okay, quick.
I was answering the
And Laura
question.
for that
I think
matter.
that
Hold on.
I
Again,
think
like I
that
said, I
Wait, stop.
clarified when I joined the
Excuse me.
conversation
I
here
think
that I'm a
Laura,
professional chain yanker in this specific,
Could,
I think that
guys,
context.
Laura, I
we
think
should
that
be
I
respectful of
talk one at a
people
time.
and
Can
their
we let
voting
Loomer finish, and then
history.
we'll go back to Dawn after? I want Loomer to finish first. Loomer, you
Their
can go.
voting history. I think that you can learn a lot from somebody's voting history and also their donation history and the statements that they've made about politicians in the
I'm
past.
sorry, you are not able. It's illegal to change your mind.
Well, I think we should be extra skeptical of people who come from Silicon Valley who just recently, I mean, look, he made donations to Ro Khanna, a Democrat congressman who's on video calling for mass condemnation of President Trump and calling on members of Congress to support the impeachment. He just donated to him less than a month before the election. You can check the FEC records. He gave $6,600 in donations from 2023 to 2024 to Ro Khanna. So he hasn't really changed his mind if he's been donating to Democrat politicians who want Trump to be impeached.
How are you even sure that this is the right guy?
Because
The
I
congressman said
checked the
so.
address verification. I
The
checked it.
congressman said so, and the
I
receipt's up
checked it,
there.
and
I put it up there.
the congressman admitted it. So
Right.
I'm not being unreasonable here. The congressman admitted it.
And there, to be clear, there should be skepticism, or at least a keen eye.
Okay, so you're skeptic of this individual because of their donation history. You're just sounding like the same type of people that tried to cancel fucking Palmer Luckey.
No, I'm not.
This is the exact shit.
No, I'm not.
But that's a straw man, though. Like, wait.
No, it is not. This is the inverse. It's like on the other
No,
side of the same coin
but it's
of
not
like
the
what
inverse
happened to
because
Palmer
we're
Luckey.
talking
Oh, we did
about
a bunch of donations. We should probably
we're talking
yeah.
about staffing a Trump administration, and so I'm not going to have an issue with somebody going in the Trump admin if they donated to Donald Trump. If they donated
Here's a quick question:
if they donated,
why does this politics matter when he's supposed to just do things in the space?
Middle MAGA.